Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Jukka Rantanen and the organizing committee for this invitation. I think this workshop is really great, actually. My name is Alvaro Goyanes. I'm co-founder and development director at FabRx. FabRx is a spin-out company from UCL, University College London, and I'm also work part-time as a lecturer at the University of Santiago de Compostela in Spain. So I think I'm not going to explain about the potential applications of 3D printing because it was mentioned before. I think one of the best ones is the possibility of personalized medicines. The one approach we have right now in the pharmacy, the approach of one medicine fits all, but according to one study from the NHS, it says that only 30 to 60% of the medicines are effective in this approach. So maybe one way to try to be more effective with the medicines is to give the right medicine to each person, to each patient, and maybe 3D printing could increase this ratio, this percentage. I see some advantages of 3D printing or motivations. You can change the dose very easy, just modifying the software. You can design different shapes that could be more attractive for different people. You can combine different drugs in the same formulation. Here you can see a CAD design or a 3D design, and here the 3D printed medicine with 4 different colorants that could be 4 different drugs. And you can create like different designs. Well, Dimitrios explained in the previous talk, like, so crazy designs and so novel designs that actually you can create unique dosage forms just using 3D printing. My vision and our vision is that in the future, the patient will go to a medical doctor because there is a therapeutic need. Maybe the patient feels bad, have pain, or maybe is wearing a wearable device, or after analysis something is wrong. So there is a therapeutic need. This patient goes to the doctor. The doctor, if it's possible to solve this problem with medication, is going to send a digital prescription. This digital prescription is going to go to the pharmacy. In the pharmacy, the pharmacist is going to create a digital design based on the digital prescription. This digital design is going to be sent to the 3D printer, and in the 3D printer, we are going to create or to prepare a personalized medicine. Not only personalized in dose, but also in size, in flavor, in shape, in color, many different ways of personalize, changing excipients as well. And then we give this medicine to the patient, and the patient takes the medicines, and then we again go back to check if there is a therapeutic need. Maybe it's necessary to change the dose, to change for another medicine. So we have here a circle, and this is the pharmacy or the digital pharmacy of the future. Obviously, to move this forward, there are many inconveniences or many potential drawbacks. Just focus on this 3D printer size. Obviously, we need probably to verify that the drugs that we print, the medicines that we print, have the right dose. So we need to have a quality control methods in the printer. And probably having better diagnostics, better technologies to check the health status of the person would help as well. And maybe in the future, the whole system is going to be controlled by artificial intelligence, not only the printing, but also the analytical part as well. Yeah, so if we want to move this forward, and having that this is not only a vision, that this could be a reality, we need to address many challenges, and we need to decide which printer we are going to use here, because there are many different 3D printing technologies. The first speaker, Mika, has talked about that in the first talk, and we need to select which 3D printer systems are the best here. So I think that the material extrusion systems are the best because you can get the final formulation in a single step. You put raw material and then you print, and you can print directly into the blister packing. One of the best technologies could be fused deposition modeling. As I said, Dimitrios and Eric explained about this technology, so it's very clear. We have a filament that is loaded with the drug, and you print the medicine. This is very easy and one of the most studied technologies for 3D printing of medicines. What's the problem of this technology? That as Julian said, there are many different problems that you can face. And one of the problems is that to get the right filament, you can get very brittle filaments or very flexible filaments. And you need to use a hot melt extrusion system to get the right filament. And it's not always very easy. It's not so straightforward. So we developed the idea that that would be like fantastic to have a system where the nozzle of the printer is the hot melt extruder. So we designed another 3D printing system that we call direct powder extrusion, where you use as a starting material powder, that you put the powder in the hopper of the nozzle, and then it directly melts, goes through the single screw extruder, melts, and print directly. There is one colleague of mine that is Atir that is going to talk about this technology in the next session. She has a poster presentation, so you will learn more about this technology. And another alternative technology could be semi-solid extrusion. In this technology, we just need to have like a kind of syringe, put the materials inside, and print with the materials that we have in this syringe. Either we have this material in a kind of semi-solid state because we use different solvents, or we use heat to melt these materials and then print. So these three technologies, I think, are the most suitable ones for 3D printing in a pharmacy. Maybe other people had different opinions, but we moved forward thinking that this is the right way. So what other problems we can face here if we want to do that? Is that possible to do right now? Well, we thought that would be very difficult because first you need to move one printer to the hospital and then do the whole study. But we decided to give it a go and to try. This is one of the questions that I would ask later. What is the need for the development of this? What is going to be difficult to translate? So you can think about different potential problems. I will give you 4 options. Maybe you think about something different, but just for you to think about. So I have a discussion with many people in many hospitals about how we can use 3D printing in the hospital. And with many people, I got the idea that 3D printing could be used for rare metabolic diseases or rare diseases in general, diseases that have no medicines in the market, that the medicines that they use need to be prepared in the hospital, doing compounding, pharmaceutical specials, and it takes time for the people to prepare those. And one of these diseases is maple syrup disease, maple syrup urine disease. Patients with this disease in the past used to die very, very young. And it's because they have a problem to metabolize 3 amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So now they survive because they have like a very strict diet, and then they need as a supplement these 3 amino acids in a specific dose. So every week or every 15 days, you need to go to the hospital to check the levels, and then the pediatrician gives you the right dose of this isoleucine, and these are prepared in the hospital for the patient, like the right dose. So we decided to try and give it a go with this disease to see if we could print 3D printed medicines with isoleucine, that is 1 amino acid for these children. So the study, we did it in Spain in a hospital that is a reference hospital in Europe for rare metabolic diseases. And we decided to create different gummy formulations that are chewable tablets with different flavors and colors, and compare the performance of these formulations with capsules that were prepared in the hospital with different doses. So we recruited 4 patients. We recruited only 4 patients because it's a rare disease and there were no more patients in that region of Spain. And the age was from 3 to 16 years old. and the dose was from 50 milligrams to 200 milligrams. The dose changed in different days. And the study was, we tested these formulations compared to the conventional capsules that they prepare in the hospital, and we check the blood levels and the acceptability of these formulations. Basically, we moved the printer to the hospital, and the whole printing process was done in the hospital. This was the first time that a printer was in the hospital to print medicines in the pharmaceutical department of the hospital. We faced many problems, but at the end was doable. So this is the printer that we actually moved. It's based on semi-solid extrusion. Here we have the syringe. We use a mixture of different sugars and gelling agents to print. We at that point we had a software that we designed the 3D shape of the objects that we wanted to print depending on the dose. And here you see how it prints. You can see that the resolution is not good, but we selected this technology with this low resolution because they are chewable tablets, and the resolution is not important because the patients are going to chew the tablets and are going to swallow a small part of that. So this technology is very quick because we were able to print 28 tablets, medication for 1 month, in around 10 minutes. Obviously, you need to prepare the cartridge, the ink cartridge. But you see here. Yeah. So the results of the study, when we compare the levels of isoleucine, that was the amino acid that we administer between capsules and printlets, we had like different values each time. We had a range of values that was okay, between 200 micromolar and 400. But when we get all the values together, we see that for the capsules, we have like higher standard deviation than for the printlets. Both control the disease, both gave the same value, the mean value, but the prinlet, the standard deviation was smaller than with the capsules. And that could be because the capsules, these were very small children, some of them, and the capsules were open and mixed with food, so maybe the bioavailability of these amino acids was different. But with the prinlet, with the 3D printed gummy formulation, they were given alone, just without water, and probably the bioavailability was more constant. So we prepared the formulations with different flavors, and we asked them to rate which ones were better. The lemon and orange were the flavors more accepted, and people didn't like coconut or raspberry. But the acceptability was better than with the capsules. And in conclusion, we realized that we could move a printer to a hospital and try to prepare formulations and control the levels of a specific drug or therapy. We could have like tighter control compared to the capsules, and we could select different flavors. So this was the first study done in a hospital using 3D printing, and opened the door to new studies. I would think about another question here. What could be the best advantage of this technology for this study? Well, you can think. I will give you 4 options, but you can think about what is the best advantage. Yeah. And other thing that we learned from this study is that the printer that we were using was not the best one. The printer we used, was a semi-solid extrusion printer, was working okay, but there was not the right software. We had many problems because it was not really reliable. So we realized that we really need a GMP 3D printer. So I'm a pharmacist by training. I know a lot about formulation development, but we realized that even if we get the best formulation, if there is no printer in the market to print medicines, this is not going to move forward. So we decided to move forward developing our own 3D printer and our own software based on our experience. But maybe it's not the experience from other people, but based on what we think was necessary at that point. So we had early conversations with the MHRA, that is the agency for medicines in UK. We had conversations as well with the FDA and with the European agency, and we got a grant with the Innovate UK, that is a organization from the UK government, to develop the printer. And here is the printer that is connected to a laptop or a tablet, and has like a data matrix system to control the cartridges that you put inside the cartridges or the filaments, and also have a control access using fingerprints. We thought that the software should be very easy to use, the printer should be cheap, thinking that whatever thing you buy for a pharmaceutical industry is going to be expensive, but should be cheap. It's not going to be 300 pounds like a printer for China, from China, but it shouldn't be 300,000 pounds. So it should be cheap, and you should be able to print on top of the blister packing. So we have like many requirements, and we try to develop this printer. We call it the printer MediMaker, because you use the printer to make medicines, and we came up with this fancy logo that is a capsule and the fingerprint all together in a fancy way. So now we are running more studies with this printer in hospitals, and this is in one hospital in Spain, a different hospital, and we are trying to improve this printer using the three technologies that I mentioned before. As I said, the software is very important, because you cannot expect the pharmacists, they are going to know anything about the G-code, STL files, software for 3D printing. They just want to go, select the dose that they need to print, and just print. So we had a collaboration with a company in Spain that is called BaseSoft, and is installed in many hospitals in Spain. So we develop a small software that can be integrated in that software, and then you can have access to the patients, to the prescriptions, and you can prepare some validated formulations. So the pharmacists just need to select the digital prescription, select the right dose, put the right cartridges. There is a quality control method to check that you put the right cartridge, and you print with this printer. So this is very easy to use. Obviously, there are no cartridges in the market right now, and there is no validation method we are using for our formulations. But I imagine that in the future, these printers would be in hospitals, and in the future, there are not going to be like 20 printers in one hospital, one for each pharmaceutical companies. It should be only one printer, and all the pharmaceutical companies be able to use the same printer, just selecting the right parameters in the software. And we think that this could be the printer. So whatever you want to print, you just need to get the right information inside the software, validate everything, and print using this printer, where you have like three nozzles as an option. What I realized as well after doing this study in the hospital is that teamwork was very basic. Is the main thing that you have to do. Here I have a picture of the FabRx team that is also UCL team, because we are based in UCL with Professor Abdul Basit, and Abdul Basit is here. I don't know if you can, sorry, I don't know if you can see my arrow, but doesn't matter. Abdul Basit, Simon Gaisford, and you can see here at Tira as well that she's talking later. And it's very important as well to have a good communication with the staff in the hospital, because they are going to let you know about the requirements, their needs, and sometimes what you think is the best idea ever is completely solved in the hospital and doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so teamwork is great, and is the most important thing, I would say. And obviously, without them, we couldn't do anything. What else? Well, I just want to say thank you. I always finish these talks saying that this is 3D printing is going to change how we make pharmaceutical products in the future, but this is moving forward. So you need to think about what we are going to do in the future, not what we do now. So what we are going to be able to do in the future. 5 or 6 years ago, 3D printing of pharmaceuticals were just nothing. Everything was impossible to do, but now we have better polymers. We will print at lower temperatures with high drug loading, with biological drugs, with everything. So this is moving forward, just with the small pieces of work for different groups and different teams. And I think we need to come back and go all together. You can find more information in this book or in this review article, and also you can find some videos, new videos in this web page. And yeah, I think we can answer the questions I sent now, and thank you for your time.